You know, we're all kind of taught that a bigger paycheck means a richer life. It just seems like common sense, right? But what if that's completely wrong? Today, we are going to explore this really fascinating idea: why so many Europeans seem to feel wealthier and way less stressed about money, even when they're earning less than their American counterparts. And the answer? Well, it might just change how you think about wealth altogether.
So let's just start with the big question right at the heart of all this. We chase higher salaries, we push for that next promotion, and we assume that more money in the bank is automatically going to lead to more peace of mind. But as it turns out, it's a whole lot more complicated than that.
And this quote, it really just gets right to it. And the reason for this isn't some secret European budgeting trick. Nope, it's about something much deeper. It's about the fundamental differences in how society is built. What you're forced to pay for, and what your culture tells you is actually valuable. Once you start to see the system, the whole paradox starts to make a lot more sense.
Okay, so first up, let's talk about what I'm calling the paycheck paradox. The secret here isn't that individual Europeans are just better with money. The thing is, the systems they live in are fundamentally different. Let's take a look at how the very structure of a society can make a smaller paycheck feel surprisingly large.
Now, a huge piece of this puzzle comes down to all those hidden costs, the ones that make your paycheck just kind of vanish before you even get a chance to use it. We're talking about massive, unavoidable bills. These are the non-negotiable expenses that have a huge effect on how wealthy you feel, no matter what your salary says.
I think this is such a powerful way to put it. For a lot of Americans, a huge slice of their salary is already spoken for before it even hits the bank account? It creates this feeling like you're on a treadmill. Even when you get a raise, it doesn't feel like more freedom, it just feels like the treadmill got a little bit faster. In this slide, wow, it just lays the difference out so clearly. Take a look at the American default on the left. You've got health insurance deductibles, massive student debt, car payments, insurance, and don't even get me started on childcare costs. These are huge, often unpredictable expenses. But now look over at the European buffer on the right. Healthcare is often covered or capped. Education doesn't mean a lifetime of debt. And things like public transport and subsidized childcare, they just take a huge mandatory burden off your shoulders. It's not that these things are free, but they're handled collectively, which creates this incredible financial cushion for everyone.
And this isn't just about the numbers on a spreadsheet. It has a massive emotional impact. When you take away those huge, scary bills, you stop living in what the source calls defensive mode with your money. There's less need to just hoard cash out of pure fear. And that also means fewer of those stress-induced, I deserve this kind of purchases. Suddenly, your money starts to feel like a tool you can use to build a life, not just a shield to protect you from disaster.
So we've seen how the bills you have to pay can shape how you feel. But what about the things you spend money on by choice? It's not just about what you're forced to buy, but what you feel pressured to buy. And that brings us to our next big idea, the currency of status, and what different cultures use to signal success.
And this just perfectly illustrates that cultural split. In the US, success is often something you perform, visibly. The bigger house, the newer car, right? It's all about showing your achievements. But in a lot of European cultures, the biggest status symbols are completely invisible. It's about having time. It's long vacations, leaving work on time, having a short commute. It's less about what you own and more about showing everyone that you've kind of figured life out.
I just love this phrase. It perfectly captures the whole idea. When the most impressive thing you can have is control over your own time, well, all that pressure to just accumulate more and more stuff, it just kind of fades away. It completely changes the game.
This quote highlights that really deep mental shift that happens. The main question isn't about the price tag anymore. It's about the life energy something costs you. And that shift in perspective, that's a form of wealth all by itself. It just dramatically cuts down on the stress of always comparing and competing. And all of this leads us right into our next big theme, the wealth of security. Because it turns out that predictability and just simple stability, they can create a feeling of richness that a high but maybe volatile income just can't seem to deliver. This is such a crucial distinction. Think about it. Even people earning a lot of money in the US can live with this constant, low-grade fear that one bad thing, a layoff, a medical diagnosis, could just unravel everything. In many European countries, the social safety net creates a higher floor. You might not get rich as fast, but you're a whole lot less likely to fall as hard. So what this all boils down to is something experts call psychological security. And it is so much more than just a feeling. It's a resource.
It's this background confidence that lets you plan for the future, maybe take a calculated career risk, or just, enjoy your life without constantly bracing for disaster. And here's the really interesting part. Contrary to what you might think, this kind of security doesn't make people lazy. The source argues it actually redirects ambition in a much healthier way. When you're not stuck in survival mode, you can actually plan for the long term. You can chase your goals with a sense of calm purpose, instead of just panicked urgency. Stability becomes a foundation you can build on, not a weakness. Okay, so let's bring all these ideas together for our final section. We've seen how mandatory costs, cultural status, and psychological security all play a huge role. The last piece of the puzzle is how the actual design of your daily life can make you feel rich or poor, completely separate from your bank balance. And this comparison is so telling. In the US, life is often consumption-based by default. Seeing your friends, having fun, it almost always involves a transaction, right? In contrast, a lot of European cities are literally designed for human connection and simple pleasures that don't cost a thing. Walkable town squares, beautiful parks, and a culture of just enjoying public space. This quote from the source really just nails it. If you can have a full, satisfying day without constantly pulling out your wallet, the amount of money you need to feel happy just drops dramatically. Your income stretches further, emotionally, not just financially. So look, the point of all of this isn't to say one way of life is better than the other, or that you should pack your bags and move. It's really to use this comparison as a lens, a way to question our own assumptions about what it really means to be, and more importantly, to feel wealthy. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. What truly makes you feel wealthy? Is it having more stuff, or is it having more breathing room? More security, more time, and more control over your own life. Because as we've seen, when everyday enjoyment doesn't require constant spending, feeling rich becomes accessible to everyone, no matter what their paycheck looks like.